amazed on how ignorant Americans really are, that they do not understand what democracy really is. In a republic, a constitution or charter of rights protects certain inalienable rights that cannot be taken away by the government, even if it has been elected by a majority of voters. In a pure democracy, the majority is not restrained in this way and can impose its will on the minority. Do you really want to live under a democracy? How insane, how ignorant the people have become.
Political season is at its height right now, and we're all glad to be Americans because we live in a democracy. Well, wait, is this really a democracy?
America is not a democracy.
You see, I was talking with this guy.
My name is Ben Swan.
He does a lot of journalism about our political system.
And I am a reporter and anchor with WXIX TV in Cincinnati. I'm also the host and producer of Reality Check.
And I was trying to figure out what he meant. So we started talking about ancient Greece.
Ancient Greece was a democracy. The people had the ultimate say. So for instance, in the case of the healthcare law, instead of having lawmakers who would draft a bill and vote on a bill and then let the people know what the decision was, they would write a bill, a healthcare bill, and then all the people would go to the polls and the people would vote. And if the majority of the people said we like the healthcare law, it would become law. And if the majority of people said we don't like it, then it wouldn't become law. Everything would be based upon majority rules. But when the founders created our Constitution and our Bill of Rights, they established a form of government, and they actually determined that a democracy was the worst form of government.
The worst form of government?
Many of the founders said that democracy was nothing more than mob rule. And so they were against democracy and instead felt the correct form of government for this free nation was a republic.
Ah, yes, a republic. Yeah, to the republic for which it stands and stuff like that. So, what's a republic?
Well, a republic is a form of government. Let me start that again. A republic is a form of government where the people will go to the polls to elect men and women who represent them. And then those elected leaders create and vote on laws. The people don't vote directly on laws that affect their life. Rather, it's lawmakers who are chosen among the people. And these are supposed to be the best, the smartest, the most ethical, the most moral, the most upright men and women in a society who represent the majority of society. And that's the form of government we have in the United States. The other thing that's important to understand is the distinction between democracy and a republic is that a democracy is the rule of man ruling over each other, which our founders believe turns into mob rule. A republic is the rule of law. Laws are formed and created as a Bill of Rights or a Constitution, and then those laws are never superseded by mob rule or superseded by elected officials. They are all under law. So republic is actually the rule of law.
On January 12th, a massive earthquake ravaged Haiti's capital, taking the lives of hundreds of thousands of people and leaving millions more without water, food, and shelter.
We'd like to thank all of you. There are nearly 200,000 of you from America and around the world who have supported the Clinton Bush Haiti Fund and our efforts to get water, food, and medical supplies to the millions who were left hurt, hungry, and homeless.
Weeks later, people continue to open their hearts and give what they can to help the people of Haiti in their time of need.
Whether it's $25 or $1 million, every donation makes a big difference.
Your donations have allowed us to send funds to reputable organizations providing direct relief and assistance to survivors, including medical care, food, water, shelter, and education in Port-au-Prince, Jacmel, Saint-Martin, and Martissant.
But the work has just begun, and the needs are as urgent as ever. With your support, our Clinton Bush Haiti Fund will continue to provide assistance and care and comfort to our neighbors now and in the months and years to come.
So please, give what you can today to save lives and help the people of Haiti rebuild their future. To donate, please visit www.clintonbushhaitifund.org.
Thank you.
Haitian activists stage a protest outside Hillary Clinton's Manhattan office. The demonstrators claim billions of dollars were stolen through the Haiti Reconstruction Commission headed by Bill Clinton. They also say Haiti was used as a cover for foreign governments to funnel kickbacks of possibly hundreds of millions of dollars through the Clinton Foundation. They say it was done in exchange for favors that Hillary was doing for them as Secretary of State. They say they want their message to get out so Americans won't vote for her if she runs for president.
We are telling the world of the crimes that Bill and Hillary Clinton are responsible for in Haiti, and we are telling the American people that the over 32,000 emails that Hillary Clinton said she deleted have evidence of the crimes they've committed.
The demonstrators staged a rally in front of Bill Clinton's office in Harlem in January.
As we told you at the start of tonight's program, a major magnitude earthquake has hit the island of Haiti in the Caribbean. The quake measured around 7 points on the Richter scale, and its epicenter fell just 10 miles from the capital, Port-au-Prince. Haiti's ambassador to the U.S. has described the event as a catastrophe of major proportions.
So far, we have no information regarding the casualties.
The war is coming to an end.
It was a big earthquake. It lasted like 15 seconds, I think.
Probably the most devastating humanitarian crisis that Hillary Clinton faced during her tenure at the State Department was the tragic earthquake in Haiti. It happened in January of 2010, and literally in a matter of seconds, 250,000 people were estimated to have died, and a large portion of the Haitian infrastructure and economy was just decimated. It was a crisis on a massive scale.
The United States is offering our full assistance to Haiti and to others in the region. We will be providing both civilian and military disaster relief and humanitarian assistance, and our prayers are with the people who have suffered, their families, and their loved ones.
In the days and weeks that followed the earthquake in January of 2010, Hillary Clinton made visits to Haiti.
And here's the latest on Haiti. U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton arrived in Port-au-Prince just about an hour ago. She is the highest-ranking U.S. official in Haiti right now since Tuesday's earthquake. She's meeting with Haitian leaders and international officials to discuss the rescue and relief efforts.
In fact, on her first visit, which occurred days after the earthquake, they literally had to stop traffic going in to the airport at Port-au-Prince. There, of course, were relief supplies that were being flown in, but that traffic was stopped so the Secretary of State could come and assess the damage.
There is a perception, and there have been complaints or reports of bottlenecks, that there's a lot of aid coming in, but it's very hard to get it out to the people who need it.
That's just not true. The aid is coming in, we're getting it out, there's just not enough of it yet.
She flew in with her political aides on a large federal airplane. She landed at the airport. She made a large press conference, made statements about her commitment to rebuilding this country, and then she was soon whisked away, headed back to Washington, D.C.
Theirs is a city in ruins, a country which can do little but wait for help to arrive.
The international community responded in the way that you would expect it to. That is, large amounts of money were committed, up to $13 billion from international relief organizations. And of course, you had the official role of the State Department, which would be point on U.S. taxpayer dollars going to Haiti for the purposes of relief.
I want to assure the people of Haiti that the United States is a friend, a partner, and a supporter.
Hillary Clinton's State Department would oversee the reconstruction effort, with Chief of Staff Cheryl Mills responsible for the allocation of U.S. tax dollars through USAID. And Bill Clinton, already appointed Special Envoy to Haiti for the United Nations, was named co-chair of the Interim Haiti Recovery Commission, along with the former Haitian Prime Minister.
I hope it will be rebuilt in a much stronger and more sustainable way, and I think the Haitians want that.
So this was clearly a Clinton operation from the beginning. Now, the Haitians had their own ideas about how best to rebuild their country. They wanted new roads. They wanted buildings rebuilt. And that's what you would expect. This is how you recover from an earthquake. The problem is that the Clintons had their own agenda, the interests of major donors who had a vested interest in spending that money in Haiti in ways that would benefit them.
And so you immediately had this clash between the Haitians and the Clintons. And Haitians complained almost immediately that they were shut out of the decision-making process, that it was really Bill Clinton and a few of his friends that were calling the shots in the IHRC. And they made some monumentally bad decisions that not only didn't benefit the Haitian people, but ended up putting money in the pockets of major Clinton donors who had economic stakes in Haiti.
We have been united behind a single goal: making investments in this country's people and your infrastructure.
So it's a classic example of what some people call disaster capitalism. Disaster capitalism in that a natural disaster creates opportunities for rebuilding to take place, but also for self-enrichment to take place. And if you look at the Clintons and the promises that were made and the results that actually followed, it is a tragic story of crony capitalism gone awry.
The single largest relief project that the United States committed taxpayer dollars to, $124 million to be exact, was a project called Caracol, a textile factory that was built in the northern part of the country that was supposed to create some 60,000 jobs and was supposed to create tremendous economic growth.
There's a problem here already. You see, the earthquake affected the southern part of Haiti. The northern part of the country was entirely unaffected.
But who were the beneficiaries of this? Companies like Gap, Target, and Walmart, to name a few. The Caracol factory was built, but it didn't create 60,000 jobs. It created barely 5,000 jobs. But the major American companies who got textiles tariff-free, made at low wages, benefited enormously.
And the end effect on the Haitians was very, very minimal. If you look at some of the infrastructure projects that were undertaken, the Clintons had very grand plans to build large tracts of homes, and there were contractors that were selected for those projects. Sometimes the contractors had experience, sometimes they did not.
There's one company in Florida that spent $1 million getting equipment into Haiti. They had experience in disaster relief, but according to the owners of that company, they only made a small donation to the Clinton Foundation. And guess what? They didn't get any relief contracts. On the other hand, the contractors who did win the awards were given the opportunity to build homes, and in some instances were supposed to build tens of thousands of homes for Haitians. They ended up building a fraction of that. For instance, the New Settlements program was supposed to build 15,000 homes for $53 million. Instead, it built 2,600 homes, less than a quarter of the original estimate, for $90 million, or $47 million over budget.
And they got away with it.
So you had contracts going to these relief organizations that were also involved with the Clinton Global Initiative. And you had this one organization, Dahlberg, that was supposed to do an assessment for relocating people that suffered from the earthquake. They determined that people should be moved to a site that happened to be on a cliff that was highly unstable. USAID's Inspector General reviewed Dahlberg's recommendations and found them basically unusable. One member of the USAID shelter team was quoted by Rolling Stone magazine as saying that the recommendations were so bad, it looked like the team never even got out of their SUVs. Another person said that only one of the people that was sent to Haiti by Dahlberg actually spoke French.
Telecom mogul Dennis O'Brien is one of the world's richest people, and he's finding opportunities in the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. The Irish billionaire is the largest private investor in Haiti through his company Digicel, and he's now leading the Clinton Global Initiative efforts down in Haiti.
Probably no one came out better in the Haitian reconstruction effort than an Irish billionaire named Dennis O'Brien. He is a Clinton Foundation donor, giving them between $5 and $10 million. He helped arrange speeches for Bill Clinton, too.
The interest of the Obama administration, particularly the former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, you know, all the different things that have happened to help Haiti get up off the floor have been led by the U.S.
And he was the owner of something called Digicel, which is a cell phone company at the time of the earthquake. As part of that relief effort, the State Department run by Hillary Clinton wanted to fund a mobile money transfer service that would allow Haitian citizens to transfer and receive money on their phones. Well, Digicel applied to be the recipient of that grant money. 4 weeks after their application, Digicel actually sponsored a speech for Bill Clinton in Jamaica, and they paid him $225,000. And as it turns out, within 4 months of that speech, Digicel would receive the first installment of that grant money. The earthquake actually has been great for Digicel and Dennis O'Brien.
More than 4 years since a magnitude 7.0 earthquake devastated Haiti, and outrage there is growing over the largely failed reconstruction effort, despite the hundreds of millions of dollars in aid that has been collected and spent by the IHRC, the Interim Haiti Recovery Commission.
So whether you're talking about housing or cell phones, you see that the people that are closest to the Clintons have made out very well from the Haitian earthquake. The rest of the country, the ordinary people of Haiti, not so much.
Haitian activists staged a protest outside Hillary Clinton's Manhattan office. The demonstrators claim billions of dollars were stolen through the Haiti Reconstruction Commission headed by Bill Clinton. They also say Haiti was used as a cover for foreign governments to funnel kickbacks of possibly hundreds of millions of dollars through the Clinton Foundation. They say it was done in exchange for favors that Hillary was doing for them as Secretary of State.
The tragedy is we had an opportunity to rebuild in a way that would give the people of that country hope. Sadly, that opportunity was squandered, and what took place, rather than rebuilding Haiti, was the self-enrichment by friends of the Clintons. For all of Bill Clinton's talk about building Haiti back better, the fact remains that the most visible evidence of Clinton's role in the recovery isn't the improvement of daily life for everyday Haitians, but the construction of new luxury hotels just miles from the folks who have been living in tarps USAID handed out immediately after the earthquake.
We are telling the world of the crimes that Bill and Hillary Clinton are responsible for in Haiti.
But while the world eventually lost interest in Haiti's recovery, the influence and connections afforded to donors from the Clinton Foundation appear to have been lessons learned by others. So how much do connections to the Clintons matter when you're talking about Haiti? Consider the case of gold mining. The government of Haiti had not granted a gold mining concession in 50 years. They decided to do so during the reconstruction of their country, which was being overseen by Bill and Hillary Clinton. What company did they select to get this gold mining permit? A company called VCS Mining. VCS Mining had very little experience in gold mining, but what did they have? They had connections. Shortly after they got that concession, someone joined their board of directors. It just happened to be Tony Rodham, brother of Hillary Rodham Clinton.
It was a true disaster that followed the earthquake, which was the natural disaster. This was the man-made Clinton-caused disaster in relief that led to the wasting of enormous sums of money, the enrichment of elites that were friends with the Clintons, and the Haitians were left in a situation where their life was really not much better than it was the day after the earthquake happened. The Clintons are glad to take this money. It's made them fabulously wealthy. But what has it done for us? Before we had to worry about money from Wall Street and big labor, now we have to worry about it coming from around the world and infecting our politics, human rights policy. Nothing seems to be safe anymore. How is this not corruption? How is this not a crime? With the Clintons, nothing is sacred. Everything is for sale. But we are the ones who are paying the price. Maybe, just maybe, the American people are tired of being sold out.
Thank you all.
They were one-time rivals.
My biggest problem with Governor Clinton is that he's on one side of the issue one day and on the other day, and we cannot let the White House turn into the Waffle House.
Now best of friends, a political odd couple doing good around the world. Their relationship the subject of several newly published letters by George H.W. Bush.
May all the Democrats forgive me this close to the election. I love George Bush. I do.
I so appreciated your words about our relationship, about our friendship, Bush wrote to Clinton after a 2006 award ceremony. It was from your heart. I hope you know I feel the same way.
They've become really great friends. In fact, almost like family. And that's part of a jealousy problem for the rest of the Bush kids. They think they've got this other brother named Bill Clinton.
But until you've been on the ground and see it, it is hard to realize the scope of the challenge that lies ahead.
They first came together publicly after the 2005 tsunami in Southeast Asia and traveled extensively together over the years.
Thank you very much. You know, when a president is about to leave office, most of the time most people are dying for him to go on and get out of there. But there are a few little rituals that have to be observed. One of them is that the president must host the incoming president in the White House, smile as if they love each other, and give the American people a feeling that democracy is peaceful and honorable and there'll be a good transfer of power. You might be interested to know that the only thing George Herbert Walker Bush asked me to do is to preserve the points of light. And now, hundreds of millions of hours of volunteer work have been done. I've always been grateful that he asked and that I listened. So when I was leaving and George W. Bush was coming in, the only thing I asked him to do was to preserve AmeriCorps, and he did. And I'm very grateful. I thank you. When you've had the honor of being president and your ambition is slaked and most of your fights are done, all you really want to do is make sure that by the time you leave this earth, things are a little better off than they were when you showed up. So I set up this foundation and I went to work. Then George W. Bush did me one of the great favors of my life. He asked me not once, but twice to work with his father to help people in need, first in South Asia in the tsunami, and then in the Gulf Coast after Katrina. All told, we took 7 trips together. It was an amazing experience. And this man whom I'd always liked and respected and then run against in a painful campaign in some ways, I literally came to love. And I realized all over again how much energy we waste fighting with each other over things that don't matter. It got so ridiculous, our odd couple partnership, that Barbara began to refer to me as her black sheep son. You know, the one that strays. There's one in every family. Gets the politics wrong or makes some other mistake. This is a story that began with an improbable meeting in the White House between 2 people who had just fought a tough campaign, and all he asked me to do was to preserve the points of light. Now, as a result of that, he can virtually do no wrong in my eyes, even though he, every 5 years, makes me look like a wimp by insisting on continuing to jump out of airplanes. I love you.
It says a lot about the fractured state of American democracy when a photograph of 2 opposing politicians displaying shared affection is met with much backlash from the public. Hillary Clinton and George W. Bush met at Nancy Reagan's funeral and shared a natural, unplanned hug. The resulting publicized picture has received criticism, with one commenter saying, "This is the exact reason why you should vote for Trump. Clintons, Bushes are one and the same." What is so wrong with political opposites respecting and even being friends with each other?
former Republican President George H.W. Bush actually voting for Hillary?
Maybe a big defection on the Republican side from Donald Trump, but the news is coming from a member of the Kennedy family.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. The two most famous political families in America.
Kathleen Kennedy Townsend, eldest daughter of the late Senator Robert Kennedy, just posted this photo of the 92-year-old Bush with the caption, "The president told me he's voting for Hillary."
H.W. Bush told a room gathered in the bipartisan Points of Life Foundation, Kennebunkport on Monday, that he's voting for Hillary Clinton, according to sources close to the former president. I know it's not a huge surprise, but it's kind of stunning when you just walk away from it. George H.W. Bush, beaten by Bill Clinton, going to vote for Hillary Clinton.
It is, but I think there are a lot of voters out there, like George H.W. Bush, Republicans, who just look at Donald Trump's version of conservatism and find it unrecognizable. And so it is a huge leap. For example, I'm a Republican who's not voting for Clinton or Trump. It is a huge leap for a Republican to say, I'm not with Trump and I'm with Hillary. But the other thing that's interesting in this is that Donald Trump, over the course of this campaign, has really telegraphed he doesn't think he needs those kinds of Republicans to win. Moderate Republicans or Republicans who are uninterested in endorsing him or voting for him. That remains to be seen. If there are enough George H.W. Bushes out there who are going to not only stay home but vote for Hillary, then that strategy of ignoring the moderate Republicans will prove to have been a flawed one.
Sources say Barbara Bush, one of the daughters of former President George W. Bush, attended a Hillary Clinton fundraiser in Paris Saturday. Barbara Bush is the latest member of the Republican family to tip their hand toward Clinton over Republican nominee Donald Trump. Last month, former President George H.W. Bush told former Maryland Lieutenant Governor Kathleen Kennedy Townsend that he intends to vote for Clinton during a receiving line for board members of the bipartisan Points of Light Foundation. Barbara Bush posed for a picture with Huma Abedin during the event, the longtime Clinton aide who was hosting the fundraiser with Vogue editor-in-chief Anna Wintour.